Hello.
Good morning.
Let me get rid of this.
Hmm?
I'm gonna get rid of the note taker. I don't want it to show up here. Let me just see. How do I do that?
Hmm.
Okay, let me hold on. Remove. There we go. Mm, Okay. Hi, gallery. I want a side by side. Nope, I don't want that. Gallery. Nope. How do I get a side by side? Multi.
Um,
There we go. Okay. Don't you look lovely?
as do you. Good morning, gorgeous.
Dang. My goodness.
Now I want a side by side. So let me figure out how to do this.
Oh, okay. You know where it has
View.
view?
Yeah, I'm looking at the view.
Multi-speaker is the option to choose.
That right there. There we go. There.
I feel like I need on a different pair of earrings.
You feel like you need a different pair of earrings?
Yeah, because I love what you've got going on there.
Well, you have the earrings and the necklace to match.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that's what's special about that.
That what's special? Okay.
I like the look. I like the look myself. I don't have on any other jewelry, so I decided to make the earrings a statement piece because it's
Well,
the only jewelry I have on.
your earrings are making a statement, so it's good.
Thank you.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday. New week, new opportunities. New mindset. I got up. I did my 3 miles today. I didn't think I was going to.
You walk 3 miles?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
And
When you're walking, do you podcast? Do you just meditate? What do you do?
um, ebooks or um, podcasts, YouTubes. So
Mhm.
just various subjects that I'm interested in. I'm a lifelong learner. Um, all things under the sociology umbrella. So whether it's, of course, human design, I'm always interested in that. But astrology and numerology and let's see, uh, chakra energy, philosophy. I do that a lot. So just those anything sociology, just different perspectives, how people move together and separately in groups, and I'm always interested in those things.
It's really interesting because um it sounds like you are a lot like me in that we tend to listen to the things that are in our um, zone of genius, I'll call it. So I'm always listening to self-improvement.
Yes.
I mean, all the time. When I have a moment, it's either a self-improvement book or a self-improvement tape or a self-improvement video, um, self-improvement podcast. It's always self-improvement, self-improvement, emotional intelligence, emotional intelligence, emotional intelligence. And I was talking to one of my daughters not too long ago about this, and her question was something like, "Do you ever read anything other than that? Like romance novels?" I'm like, "No. No, I don't." But I started thinking, I wonder if it might be time to add a little bit more dimension to my life. And I'll tell you one other, I don't know why this is coming up, but I'll tell you one other reason why I'm bringing this up. It's because I was dating this guy and we were on the phone. Uh, It was a long distance relationship, and we were on the
Mhm.
phone. And he was sharing something. I don't remember what he was sharing, but I had something to offer in terms of, I thought it was insight about what he was saying. And he said to me, "You're always on. Are you ever off?" And I thought, first I was like, huh. Clutch my pearls.
Mhm.
What do you mean? But he's basically saying you're always in coach mode. Are you never not in coach mode? I don't know if I'm ever not in coach mode. And I don't even know if that's a thing. Like, I'm, I think I'm who I am. And if that's coach mode, then that's who I am. And I don't see myself as always in coach mode when I'm listening to someone because for him it's like I don't he was like saying I don't want to be coached and I was thinking I'm not really coaching you. I'm just talking to you.
Mhm.
And so it's either he didn't get that that's how I am. That is my design. Or maybe I'm always coaching and I don't need to. Maybe I'm need to just chill out, girl. There's no need for you to always have insight about what somebody says. But I just thought that was interesting. I don't know how we got on this, but there it
Well,
is.
well, I think it's fascinating. And I believe my perspective is a little different. I believe both of those things can be true at the same time.
Mm.
Um, I'm at a place in my life, well, I'm no longer taking offense to people who who correctly identify how how I present myself.
Hmm.
So if someone says you always giving advice, and you're always sharing insight, like your example, or you're always in coach mode. Thank you for noticing my strengths.
I like that.
If I was a painter, you wouldn't say you always painting as an insult.
Yeah.
If I was a flower, you wouldn't say you always blooming as an insult.
Yeah.
I this is who I am. If I was a doctor on the airplane and they say, is there a doctor in the house? Would you want me to not raise my hand?
Mm. Hmm. Yeah.
So I am who I am unapologetically. Um, and and thank you for identifying yourself, to the other person who would be saying this to me, as someone who you do recognize who I am, but you don't have the capacity. Because that's all I'm hearing. It's just you admitting that you don't have the capacity
Ooh.
to share this space with me at this time or this deep or this frequently. So that's how I would receive it.
I love that. So actually, it was a compliment. I can take
Yes,
a
it
compliment,
is a compliment.
not as an insult. And I think you're right that he probably didn't have the capacity to hold the who I am. And that's a good thing to have come to realize because if you can't hold space for me, you're probably not for me.
I need to be able to be myself at 100% capacity. And I've only learned that one of the things that I'm in human design, one of the concepts and skills and traits that I'm looking at right now is about oversight. And I got to this point because it's about reflecting. It's about stopping,
Mhm.
retreating even, taking yourself out of the situation and reflecting and getting the lesson out of it. What was I supposed to learn here? What did I teach you? And then, share that story for others if they find it beneficial. We should share your story regardless. But if those who can hear you, they'll find it beneficial. So that's how I got to this mindset of being mindful and taking a step back and learning from experiences. Because there was a point I would have taken it as an insult, which is why I said that initially, like as an insult, because I would have taken it as an insult as someone describing me. If I wasn't trying to do that thing at the time, I would have taken it as an insult. But now I'm just like, oh, thank you. I am. That's my assignment. That's my purpose. Wow, you recognize my purpose.
That's really, I really appreciate you that perspective, the way you spun this, because I've also been told you're too much.
Mm.
And as a result of that, there have been times where I try to dumb it down a little bit
Mhm.
because in the presence of those persons, I'm too much. And two things strike me. One, having had the privilege of getting my human design read by you. Is that the way to say it? Human design read?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, reading an analysis.
Analysis. I like that. Having my human design analyzed by you, that privilege, and then having um, doing the work in emotional intelligence and getting certified. Two things strike
Yes.
me. One is my human design analysis says I'm a bright star. And emotional intelligence says self-expression is a skill that, and those two need to be combined in my life. The acceptance that I'm too much and to express that too muchness with all confidence, clarity, and celebration.
Mm.
And so I appreciate how I went off on this tangent about the guy I dated and how the perspective that you brought to it, because I can just imagine a lot of women, Erica, who also feel like they're too much,
Mm.
dim it down without understanding that that's probably the way that they're designed. And emotional intelligence gives them room to express who they are in fullness and authenticity.
I love that, Pamela Elaine, because not only um, it can be painful to try to be somebody that you're not.
Mm,
It is painful, no doubt. So um, trying to dim our lights, and we do this in so many different facets of our life, our professional life, our personal life. Um, you and I in the same sorority, you know, our sisterhood, neighborhood. So wherever we show up, and if we're not in a space where we are um, aligned and living authentically and not aware of our emotional intelligence, I had the privilege of getting my EQ score from you, and that was empowering because now I have a score, a baseline. And I love that you told me that, you know, EQ changes over time, right? And so that gives me permission to grow and understand how that ebbs and flows. And then like you, I combine that with my human design knowledge of myself. And and we want to share this with other women. We use these two things to show up at the moment and meet the moment. So when someone expresses to us from their perspective, oh, you're too much, you will now already have the privilege, the confidence.
yeah.
And I would encourage them. I know my 20-year-old daughter, I've heard her say this when someone tells her she's too much, she'll say, well, finish your sentence. You mean I'm too much for you?
Oh, I love that.
And she's just 20 years old. I can only imagine. And of course, she knows her human design. And we talk about emotional intelligence. Can you imagine knowing your human design and your EQ score at 20?
That's incredible. That's
I
that's power. That's powerful living.
and
That's
so
yeah.
I'm not 20 anymore, but at the age I am now,
Yeah.
I feel like so many years have been restored. And I feel like there's so many more years ahead of me because I have fresh eyes. I'm reborn. I'm more confident to meet life and meet the moment
Mm,
with these tools. that we have. And so I approach my volunteer in the community different, my service in my sisterhood. I approach my family members differently. Business that I do, my clients, it just impacts me in every way, everywhere in my life. And I go through life like everyone else. There are issues, there's bills to pay, relationships to navigate,
Mhm.
divorce, makeup, breakups, new relationships, meeting new friends. It's so many areas. And I always take my EQ and my human design with me. And so like I say, even at this big age that I am now, I can't imagine it at 20, but I feel like I have been restored or my time has been reset or refreshed. And I'm ready to do the second half of my life more informed and more empowered.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Just, I think your daughter will avoid a lot of costly mistakes that are made when we are uninformed about how we were designed, and fewer mistakes because she understands or she uses this emotional intelligence skills
Mhm.
that many of us are unaware, have underdeveloped emotional intelligence skills that are underdeveloped. Everyone has a skill. Uh,
Yes.
Everyone has an emotional intelligence score. They don't know, may not know the score, but everyone has the skill. It's just how skillful are you? So I want to make that clear. It's how skillful are you becomes the question. And some have very low skills, some have average, some have very high. So your daughter is in at a huge advantage that
Yeah.
she knows and she uses. Um, and I was thinking what you just said made me think about, I think my children should know their human design as well. In fact, everybody should know.
I tell you what my 20-year-old daughter said. She's like, Mom, when women leave the hospitals with their babies or they adopt or um, whatever the case may be, they should be handed the birth certificate and the human design chart.
Facts. That is absolutely facts. Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think one of the things that I mean, men and women, but I'm gonna just talk about women for a moment, but we do suffer with an unusual degree of low confidence.
Yeah.
And as a result, we do those things to help us feel better, but they're not always the best things to do. And if we knew our human design, if our parents knew what it was, and then they raised us accordingly, we would not have such a struggle with self-confidence, low self-confidence that we have. And sometimes we feel like we have to put on airs. We have to either look good, got hair, all this external stuff that we do to feel better about ourselves. And then how we give away our power in relationships because we're struggling with a sense of self and low confidence. A lot of that would go away if we knew. And if we were raised, I should say, if we were raised with our parents having the awareness of who we are, of what our human design is, because that's where we have to start, right? If our parents know they're going to have to raise us accordingly. Um, but that would be such a gift.
That's an excellent point. I hadn't pondered about it myself from my parents, but in my parenting my children, once I introduced my children to their human design, our relationship, it was already good. I was already blessed. We had a decent relationship. Um, I brought the knowledge from me being a social worker in my early career. And so I had some level of emotional intelligence that I brought into my own home. And even before I introduced my daughter to her human design, people will comment like, "Oh, you're so mature. You're so, excuse me, emotionally intelligent, or you're so socially aware." And she would just say, "Oh, well, I was raised by a social worker." Would be her. She like, I just got lucky. And then when I introduced her to a human design, it switched from, oh, I was raised by a social worker to, oh, well, I know how I'm hardwired. I know what's correct for me. She's feeling empowered. Um, and so myself experiencing it as a parent and my clients who are parents, um, and I explain to them how their child is designed to thrive. They do remark
Hmm.
like, wow. And it doesn't matter the child's age. Like, wow, I started doing this strategy with, Lisa, instead of doing it this way. Like Lisa is a generator, a builder. And so she would be like, you coached me to ask her yes, no questions instead of open-ended questions.
Wow.
Um, and that's a quick, immediate strategy that they could use. And it was like, Erica, oh my gosh, like just that simple strategy that you coached me through works. And so, but yeah, I hadn't thought about it from myself as a child. That would have been remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, think about the decisions you would have made differently um, if you had known. I know that there are a lot of decisions that I would have made differently as well had I known. I want to ask you about you mentioned earlier in this conversation oversight. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because um, you were explaining when we were talking before that you're gonna have to explain this because I'm gonna chew it up. There's a pattern in the universe, or there are topics that one should talk about in certain periods of time. I mutilated that, so go ahead and clean that up.
I was just sharing with you about in human design, there are 64, we call them traits. We could call them gifts,
Okay.
um, gateways. So just your energetic imprint. And there are 64 identifiable traits and gifts that we have and we're born. And this gets into astrology just a smidget, but human design takes the moment you were born and literally a snapshot of the sky and that special moment you were born. And we all have a thumbprint. We all have our blood type, and we're also born with an energy type. We also have an energy imprint. What was the atmosphere that moment you were born? Because that's the energy that is all over your aura. So we understand body language. We understand that we are energetic beings. If we weren't comprised of energy, we wouldn't be able to wear our smart watches. When I did my 3 mile walk this morning, my smart watch is just calculating the energy emanating from my body,
Huh.
right? Um, I used to be a chief diversity officer at a medical school. We're teaching doctors every day how to use the AED defibrillator. If we weren't energy, the defibrillator wouldn't work because it takes energy to jump a car battery, energy to energy, right? And we can feel each other. If we weren't made of energy, we wouldn't be able to accidentally shock each other when we walk past each other because someone was dragging their feet on the carpet. So
Yeah.
we're energetic beings. So that's nothing, fascinating. That's just facts. So we have an energetic imprint. What human design, it captures that and and combines it with social science and human behavior. And it decodes that and it allows me to analyze and bring in my knowledge of sociology and just human behavior. And literally, like looking at a blueprint, if we were looking at a house blueprint, like an architect. I can show you the hard wiring in your house, like the electrician is going to come in and wire your house and where they're going to put the sockets. Well, when I look at your human design chart, I feel like I'm a radiologist and I'm looking at your x-ray. I can look at it and I can say, oh, you have energy from here to here. And that lets me know this energy is always consistent in your life running through. So, this is what people feel when your body language, when you walk into a room, this is how they can feel. Oh, she's excited today. You don't have to say that. And we all know, we could Google this, that verbal communication is what, less than 5 or 10% of actual, the words are less than five or 10%. The rest of language is body language. And that's just another word for your energy and your aura.
Mm.
Babies know this. Animals communicate like this. Babies and animals don't have a meeting. You're at the park, you're 4 years old. They're not having a meeting and say, okay, well, um, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. Well, one child may, the child who has what we refer to as the alpha trait, the alpha gift, he or she may step up and say that. But generally, let's take animals. They don't have the language. They use body language. So
Mm.
how does the wolf pack decide who's the alpha?
Mm.
Their energy tells them. Think back to our ancestors, back in the tribes in Africa many millennia ago. Human design also uses the ancient Chinese I Ching. We'll recognize that as the yin yang symbol. That's over 5,000 years old.
Mm.
And it also incorporates chakra concepts, chakra energy that we use in yoga.
Mm.
And so that's thousands of years old as well. So it incorporates these things. These different truths are all true when they come together. And
Mm.
so it gives me a complete picture. So that's why like babies and animals, they rely on body language. They rely on this energy that human design I can put into words for you so you could use as a compass or a roadmap.
Mhm.
Um, so that's what's naturally happening at the playground. Someone plays the cop, someone plays the robber, someone plays the mom, someone plays the dad. So if children young enough don't have that language, and they naturally do, and you watch them, and back in the 1900s when I was in college and taking sociology, 101. These, we studied. This is part of, just learning about social sciences. We will watch behavior and child development classes and like, wow, well, how come she got picked to be the cook or, she got picked to be the neighbor? And so human design gives us as adults a understanding, an education of a lifetime to help us. It's common knowledge. It's just not well utilized. But people who come across it and use it, their life is forever changed, and they feel a insight and a knowledge that you don't get taught at university or if your parents don't know about it. So that's what I was sharing. And I was specifically sharing about the one trait we call oversight or mindfulness. It's just about the fact is this is emotional energy. There's two types of energy, logic and emotional or abstract. So this is an emotional energy trait. And it's just I like to call them your superpowers because this energy is power. So this is the superpower, the tool to be able to have an experience, whatever the experience is in life, um, starting or losing a job, starting or ending a marriage, right? Whatever the situation is, the ability to step back from it. It happened, process it. No need to speak about it immediately. No need to explain it immediately. Because if you try to talk about it immediately, you're still processing. You got to let it cook for a moment. And so it just kind of teaches you to let it cook. And then once you've processed it, you're able to share it to someone as wisdom. Then you become an authority from life experience. I'm a career coach as well. And one of the things, like, yeah, you have your traditional experience you could bring to the table, your education, things like that. But what life experience do you have? Just like talk to me about that. And so these 64 traits or skills or gifts can be looked at from a professional perspective or leadership, if you're in an organization as soft skills. So 64 soft skills that I coach people through. And
Okay.
oversight is the one that I was sharing with you.
So oversight is one of the traits of the
Mhm.
64. And if I'm understanding, it has a lot to do with, um, I think you said earlier, storytelling, right? So
I do.
I'm trying to make the connection between the storytelling and stepping back and learning from a situation. Like connect those for me in my mind.
That's a great question. So think of an elder, right? So someone who just by virtue of time here on earth has had time to step back, reflect, and ponder and contemplate.
Mhm. Mhm.
Once that elder has processed that experience, we go to them as the wise one, as the guru. We sit at their feet
Mhm. Mhm.
because now they tell the story of what happened to them, what they experienced, or what someone else experienced. And they could tell that to you as a cautionary tale for you to take that and incorporate that into your life leadership in love life as well. And so whether or you could kind of equate it to the prodigal son. They go out have an experience. I remember I said you have an experience. And if you do it right, whether it's a comfortable, good experience or uncomfortable experience, if you do it right, you just need to do it once. Because if you don't do it right, life will keep bringing you that experience in different people.
I know that's true. Okay,
So
but
this is why you want to catch the lesson. You just want to do it one time, have the experience, process it. And then when you talk about it, whether it's with human design, whether it's with your coworker, whether it's with a therapist, whether it's with your pastor, you've processed it. And now that lesson becomes a blessing for someone else as a storyteller.
okay, I know why I'm having a disconnect. I'm having a disconnect because it's the trait is called oversight, right? Why isn't the trait called storytelling?
Well, actually, there's a different trait, a connected trait called storytelling. So these 64 traits are borrowed from the Chinese I Ching. Remember, I shared that's over 5,000 years old. And so we're translating a language, so Chinese language. So all words don't translate, first of all. And so these 64 traits, one trait can have several, we call them keynotes. So what are the keynote for the numbers? So it's 64. So trait 33, one of the keynotes, the main keynote is called oversight.
Mhm.
So the numbers don't change. This is always trait 33, but the keynote, whichever one best applies, they are related though. So another key note for oversight is mindfulness,
Okay.
just or retreat.
Okay.
So these words and how we were raised here in Western society, we have to have these different words of retreat, mindfulness, oversight, just to try to get close to the original meaning from 5,000 years ago in a different language. So that's why you'll hear me interchanging different words because the English language is unable to capture the full essence.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. Um, so every trait carries an energy.
Yes.
Is that right to say it that way?
Yes, that's perfect.
Every trait carries an, which is interesting because over on the emotional intelligence world or side, every emotion carries an energy. In fact, E in emotions is energy in motion.
I love that.
Every emotion, the energy of it can be measured. And actually, this very smart, I think he was a physicist, aligned the emotions based on highest frequency to lowest frequency. And so just how you can, as you were saying, we're energetic beings. We're energetic beings also because of our emotions. And the
Yeah.
problem comes in when we as energetic beings attempt to suppress that energy. Now that's when we become a wreck. There is a famous psychiatrist who said, unexpressed emotions
Mm.
will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. So I love this duality of human design energy and emotional intelligence energy because it just proves the point that we are energetic beings. And the better we understand our energy, how we were created, and how we then use that energy, how we were created, human design, how we use that energy, emotional intelligence. Wow. Imagine the super success we can all have in work, life, and love. Just imagine. Just imagine if
Well,
we brought that into politics.
wow.
Imagine if
Ye-
we brought that into like before you ever get married, you have to know your human design and you have to know your emotional intelligence score. And if it's low, you cannot get married yet because we can't change the human design, right? We cannot change how we were born, how we were designed.
But but it does act as a tool to improve your EQ score
Exactly, right? So
because I give people
we can move.
strategies.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you are not allowed to take a job until you know your human design and your emotional intelligence score. You can't get married until you know both of those, right? I mean, just the applications of this in life is huge. It's huge.
What what I like about it, it is because you're forced to do self-awareness, and in our sorority, we do mirror checks, right? So we're forced to, it forces you to look in the mirror. Start with you. Michael Jackson says, start with the man in the mirror, right?
Yes.
And so it forces us to do that. Um, and I forget where I saw this phrase, but quote, but it says, take responsibility for the energy you bring into this room.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
allows you to take responsibility for the energy you bring into that committee meeting room. It
Mhm.
allows you to take responsibility for that energy you bring into the boardroom.
Mhm.
Take responsibility for the energy you bring into the bedroom,
Mhm.
into the nursery room.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And you come in aware and aligned, you are more steady, solid for whatever state they are in. And Albert Einstein said everything is energy.
Mm.
He said all the things I've studied and looked and researched, everything is energy. Period. If
Yeah.
you understand energy, you understand life.
Mm.
And so human design allows us, it's literally like a user's manual. That's probably why my daughter said, babies should come with their birth certificate and a human design chart.
Yes.
Because it's literally a user's manual. It'll say, oh, like if you have trait 33 of oversight or mindfulness, again, several keynotes to it, activated in your chart. And you and I both have 33 activated in our chart. So one of our superpowers is that we um, give to other people. How we serve other people is providing oversight. And we provide oversight by gathering and capturing our own experiences and the experiences of others. We are designed to sit with them, process them, let it cook, and represent it and tell the story.
Mm.
to others to benefit them. That's part of our assignment. So you and I have that in common
So,
to tell the stories for to benefit um, all mankind.
uh-huh. So we're drawing the wisdom and the lessons from the experiences, whether ours or someone else's,
Yeah.
and then sharing that with other people in service to all mankind. Is
Yes.
that right?
You and I have that in common in our human design charts. Different people have different, so no one, everyone has access to all 64 traits or gifts. But in your human design chart, only about 26 of them are present and activated. Think about it as the light bulb being cut on.
Hmm.
So that energy is always available. Um, so I won't go too deep in it, but those trait 33 of oversight and mindfulness, you and I just both happen to be energized, willing, have a natural gift, natural inclination to take experiences, experience them, process them,
Mhm.
in a healthy way and in an aware way, or learn how to do that because we don't, we're not born knowing how to do this, but we have the capacity to learn how to do it naturally. Some people are just naturally good swimmers and naturally good singers. This is one of the things we do naturally, provide oversight and mindfulness. So we've developed that using our emotional intelligence over time. And human design just allows me to put a label or a keynote on it to describe what we're doing and awareness. Um, and when we have these conversations, that's why you and I are willing to share our experiences or experiences of others for again for the service of all mankind. Because that's something we are assigned to do. We can't help it. We're literally designed to do it. So it's best to just accept that, know that about ourselves, accept it, lean into it, and
Yeah.
then um, it feels like a superpower. It's like, oh well, I'm supposed to be taking my experiences, good, bad, or indifferent, processing them, and presenting them in a story like fashion so others can relate to them and resonate them and use them as a tool to improve their EQ score.
I mean, I love drawing lessons and wisdom from experiences. And then and it's not enough to just stop there for me. I have to then deliver, share, which takes me back to the guy who said, "You're always on. You're always coaching." It's because I love it. It's who I am. This is my I am expressing that trait 33, my
You
brother.
are. You
You know,
are.
and I can't, you're right, I cannot help it.
You can't.
And I've tried to help it. And it's almost like, you know how you have that float that you just keep trying to push down into the water, but it never just comes back up.
That's
It
a good analogy. Yeah,
really is. And when I am not operating in that energy, I feel deflated. I feel um, off center. I feel detached, which I think is an indication that I'm not operating in my human design, in my authentic self.
I love that. So what you're describing is not being in alignment. And I call, yeah, that's what you just described. And I call that when you're not aligned, I call that your not self.
You're not self.
And when you're feeling aligned, I call that your best self or your true self. And again, my children know their human design, and we it's literally just everyday part of life, like brushing our teeth or catching a funny meme on social media. It comes up every day in some capacity. And one of the ways they bring it up, because just because you know your human design, you're not perfect. I'm still a human being. So just because I do have to get to a point where I'm aware, like, oh, I'm in my not self. My children are very good with letting me know. They're like, oh, mom, I think your not self said that.
That is too funny. Now, wait a minute. I want to ask you something because when you did my analysis, I'm trying to find where I usually put it up on my wall. I don't know what I did with, but anyway, my not self is when I'm angry, I think, right? What's your
Anger,
not self?
bitterness.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Bitterness and
oh my
resentment.
God. Bitterness and what?
Resentment.
So when you're in bitterness and resentment, that's your not self.
Yes, that is the signal. That is your signal is anger. When you're feeling anger, my signal is when I'm feeling bitter and resentful that I have not followed my strategy, my correct strategy for me, and made a decision in my correct authority. And I have put myself in a situation, an environment with a person, place, or thing that I am now operating in my best self. And so now I feel bitter and resentful. You're
Yeah.
going to respond with anger. And for me, so in human design, I'm a projector or an advisor. And so it's bitterness and anger because I I'm designed to give advice.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm designed to project back onto people. They're like, hey, I can see your energy. I see a more efficient or effective way of using your energy. You, and let me show you. Everyone doesn't want to see that, Pamela. Everyone's not prepared to see themselves. So I don't have the right, just because I could easily see it, sense it with my body language and our auras,
Hmm.
and I could see the answer, or I could see because I have oversight, 33. I can see the bigger picture. Doesn't mean they want to hear it. So this could be a child, an employee, a partner.
Hmm.
And so my strategy is to wait to be invited to share my insight. So other people will sense that, oh, well, maybe Erica knows something. Eric, you have a lot of knowledge, or you seem to have a lot of knowledge about this.
Hmm.
And so my best strategy to communicate at work or in a meeting or while I'm, you know, volunteer in the community with my sorority or uh, just whatever the capacity is, my strategy is to wait for other people to say, "Hey, Erica, we need you for this," or
Mm.
we need your insight on this thing specifically.
Hmm.
And it
Okay.
is correct for me to just be there, be present, because if I try to, volunteer, interject, and say, "Hey, it's a better way to do this. You should put that over there," or "You and her would get along better if this is this," I can see all of those things. But if I say it and they reject my advice, because no one likes unsolicited advice. And so I have to train myself, like I see it, but that don't mean I can say it. And so if I say it and then someone rejects my advice, or whatever the case, now I'm bitter and I'm resentful because I'm like, gave you the gift of my oversight and insight. And
Yeah.
I could have made your life easier, better, quicker, faster, whatever. And you didn't appreciate me. So now I'm bitter, but I can't be mad at anybody else because I didn't follow my strategy of respecting that other people are in the middle of living their lives. And that don't mean they're ready to be transformed that day.
Mm. Yeah. So I was thinking while you were sharing that we live in a society and a culture, I guess, where you'll be stepped over if you wait to be invited. We're the aggressor. We gotta, you go for what you want, be the one in the front of the line. And not so if that's not your human design. So my
Isn't that correct
question
for
for
me?
you is, well, that's really not a fair question because you're so aware of this. But I'm gonna ask anyway for others who might want to ask. So do you ever feel you're at a disadvantage or you're disadvantaging yourself by not being aggressive in providing advice rather than waiting to be invited to give advice?
So initially, when I discovered human design when I was living and working in Tokyo. Um, so initially, when I learned about it, I'm like, oh, there's different types, and I'm this type, and this is how my energy is set up. Initially, some things really resonated. I'm like, oh, it gave me freedom. It gave me permission. But yeah, I'll admit, because when you meet human design, you're automatically in your not self because you're not aware.
Wait,
So every
say
I'm
that again. Say that again.
before you understand your human design, it's 95% chance you're walking around in your not self,
Ah.
unaware, because you're unaware. You don't know your tools and strategies. So your not self, the parts of you that are conditioned, are not going to want to hear some things. They're like, ooh, that's uncomfortable. And one of the things that was uncomfortable that I was told that my empowering strategy was to wait to be invited. I was like, I know good stuff. I'm like, what do you mean wait to be invited? And initially my not self felt disempowered. I'm like, oh. So there's another type called initiated manifester. You, the advice to go get it, be first. That applies to you.
Mm.
Now, initiates and manifestors only about 9% of the population. Myself as an advisor, projector, we're about 25% of the population.
Uh-oh. I think
8
she's.
billion people
Oh, wait, wait, wait,
or 9%.
wait. I lost you for a second. You said advisors are 25% of the population,
Yeah,
and then that was it. So,
yeah. So advisors about 20 to 25% of the population. And so, but the messages we get are, go get them and just do it and be assertive. That advice is only appropriate and applicable for the 9% of the people who are manifestors, like yourself. So whether it's 9% of the entire 8 billion population of the world or 9% in your chapter meeting.
mm,
Okay, 9% of the people are designed to initiate and manifest things and be first and go after it. 25% are advisors and projectors are designed to um, sit back, observe, because you can't give advice if you haven't observed objectively yet.
mm-hmm.
So initially, to answer your question, yes, I was like, oh, my not self was like, hmm. And then what you do with human design is you breathe in it, you experiment with it. Like I was telling you, one of my clients as a parent gave her a quick little tool in one of our sessions. I was like, hey, try this because their particular child was a certain type. And I was like, hey, your child responds better to yes, no questions or this or that question. So close-ended questions versus how was your day? You're not going to get a response from how was your day. Your particular child, you're going to need to say, did you eat lunch today?
Mm-hmm.
Something that says yes or no, or this or that. Then you could get them to talk. And so once I experimented with being an advisor and just observe, I kind of like a third party, kind of like just became a witness to my own life. Like, people say, your life is a movie. And so I began to watch it from outside. And I said, okay, well, let me try this weight thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I was nervous because I'm like, well, what if anyone doesn't invite me to share my knowledge? What if anyone doesn't invite me to share my expertise? um, at work when I was in a corporate world. I was in the C-suite, a chief diversity officer. I can't wait to be invited,
Yeah.
right? So I had to navigate that. But as time went on, all of my successful encounters came from when I was invited. It doesn't have to be a formal invitation. It can be, but it could just be something like, "Hey, Erica, I know you study, um, philosophy a lot. What do you think about this?" Oh, oh, they put me in the game. Put me in, coach. I'm up.
Yeah.
And so through my experiment of living with human design over these years, I can confidently 1,000% say I enjoy waiting. It
Mm,
is my stress is gone. I'm not designed to compete. I'm not designed to be first. I'm designed to be my best self and only respond when people call my name. Like my children will say when they talking to each other on social media, they be like, "Don't be all vague with it. At me. If you're talking to me, at me. Like the at symbol and tag me. I'm designed to let people tag me.
I see.
And if they want someone wants my expertise, they will send for me. In the meantime, I am allowed and assigned to live my life, continue to build my wisdom, rest. There's a whole nother piece about energy. I don't have sustainable energy, and you being a manifester, we don't have generative energy. Our energy comes in different spurts.
Mm.
And so you and I both benefit from day naps. And it doesn't matter if we're 14, 44, or 94. We were born to benefit from day naps.
That's so interesting. I want to ask you a question about the not self. But regarding the naps, when I learned transcendental meditation,
Okay.
that is the nap, so to speak, that
Mm.
you're referencing. Because when I don't meditate, I my children can tell.
You
They can
might become
tell
angry.
I'm off. Yes, exactly. So that's really so interesting. But I want to ask you about the not self for a moment. So
Mhm.
your not self, you said, was bitterness, right?
It is.
Okay, and my not self is anger. Are all not selves emotions?
They're more of responses.
Okay.
So another not self, there's four types. Another not self is disappointment for reflectors. And then for generators, the not self is frustration. So they're all emotional terms. So
Yes.
that's an excellent correlation. See your emotional intelligence. I love it. You just string these
Yeah.
together in ways I've never considered before with the EQ. And I know the EQ has what about 10, 15, 20 different components to it,
Yes, there are 15 competencies.
competencies.
And so if we look at it, emotions, everything you
That's
just
excellent.
said is related to an emotion, or an energy, right? And so what I was thinking while you were talking is when we see someone who is often angry, it's possible that they're in their not self as it relates to human design. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And someone who is bitter, often bitter, we can say they're in their not self as it relates to their human design.
Yeah.
So the knowing your human design is actually saving you from spinning in the negative energy that and that negative energy does have has physiological implications, right? Um, we're talking about helping people get healthier if they know their human design, in addition to what it means for their life's work. It's just like the more I talk to you about this, the more like this is like light bulbs are going off about how we're living in the darkness of our human design,
That's an excellent way to put it.
living in a lack of emotional intelligence, how we're suppressing our greatest energy because we're living in, because I told you energy is a scale.
Hmm.
So the highest, I think it's joy, the highest frequency. The lowest, I think, is anger. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna have to correct myself on it. But either way, it's low on the scale
Hmm.
of energy. And so we're living in this low energy land because we don't know who we were designed to be. So we're living in the not self of our human design. When if we know ourselves, maybe we can go up that scale. If you can just go up to depression, you're doing better.
You're absolutely right. I just love how and that's why enjoy our conversations and just sharing with each other and being willing to share with others because combining human design with emotional intelligence, it is just so empowering and so enlightening.
Yeah.
And you don't have to live in survival mode. You can live in abundance mindset. You could have permission to be yourself. You could give yourself permission to what we call in human design, decondition yourself.
Yeah.
Our parents did the best they could with what we had, with what they had. And we're doing the same things with our children, of course. But incorporating human design, even as a parent, as a business partner, as a platonic partner, as whatever, you are showing up. Look at the gift you're giving somebody else. Not only do you feel alive, but you're showing up as your best self.
Yeah. Mm,
That's the vow people take when they get married, to
mhm.
show up as their best self. And they're blindly doing that because they don't know how they're designed to show up. And then we end up with separations or divorce or all of the myriad of problems that our society faces with our families. And if you bring in emotional intelligence and human design, like you were mentioning at the beginning of relationships, when you become a parent or you become a spouse, when you become a member of an organization, when you get hired at a business,
Yeah.
if you walk in knowing who you are, like some of my career coaching clients, they use their human design. I coach them on how to use their human design to answer interview questions better, revamp their resume.
Yeah.
And I listen to them. I'm like, oh, you have this trait, this trait. You need to write. One of my leadership traits is I have oversight and insight.
Yeah.
And you put that on your resume, and then you could talk about it in the interview because I've coached you through your human design. You know who you are.
Mhm. Mm.
And it's just applicable in just so many in every facet um
Oh, yeah.
of our lives.
And
So
and you do a lot in the career space, and so if if I were to talk to employers, I would say, employer, you need to get a human design analysis and emotional intelligence scoring on every single employee, and then don't hire another until you know their human design and their emotional intelligence. That's going to save you some heartache, and it's going to maximize the potential of your current staff, right? Your current staff can maximize their potential. Or you might need to put them in a different position because they're in the wrong position to begin with. If this information is known, right? I
yes.
mean, I think about, I used to work for I used to work for a prominent, I'm not going to name it because I'm not going to speak highly about it right now. I'm not going to name the company, the organization I work for, prominent organization. And I I clearly was in the wrong position
Mm,
in that employment. And I know now in retrospect that I was, because I never felt aligned. I mean, I was doing
mm.
good work, but it wasn't fitting who I was. And I remember my boss, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this. She kind of put me on not probation, but I needed to be mentored or tutored because I wasn't uh I wasn't meeting the mark.
You wasn't falling in line.
I wasn't falling in line.
You're not designed to fall in line.
And I mean, when I eventually left that job, I felt such a sense of relief because they couldn't appreciate what I brought to the table. But I was in the wrong position anyway to bring things to the table. Um, but I'm not the only one. I think of the multitudes of men and women who are doing work that they hate, that they're not fit for, but they're still doing it because it pays the bills or it has status or whatever. But they're miserable as they go along and make people miserable too. Know your design, know your EQ. Telling you, it is the difference maker. And I'm so grateful that you and I connected because you helped me understand the parts of myself that I was, without realizing, rejecting, pushing away, um, denying, declining. Um, and it was liberating. It's like, okay, this is who I am. That doesn't mean I need to be a jerk in who I am. That's where
No.
emotional intelligence comes in.
Yes.
Let's refine. Let's let emotional intelligence refine who you are, but you cannot deny who you are. Let's
Yes.
refine it. Let's sweeten it. Let's add some perfume to it. Let's feminize it or whatever. But it's, I stopped seeing myself from deficit and started seeing the assets.
Mm. Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That that sounds good. And what I love about us connecting as well and combining emotional intelligence with human design, especially with your expertise and experiences and insight. I see your book cover there on your wall, Muddy High Heels. And so just speaking as an authority
Hmm.
because you've walked through it in your muddy high heels.
Hmm.
You're coming from authentic authority. And you're not coming to tell anyone else what to do. You're just telling them, like Trade 33 is about oversight. It's about taking time back to retreat, process your experience, and then tell the story. And you wrote a book about it. Like you already been living parts of your design with, and I just labeled it for you. I
Yeah.
just validated it.
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully that was empowering and inspiring and enriching. And my clients tell me they feel like, wow, I have superpowers. Like whether I'm Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, it's like I've been walking around, but I don't know how to use these tools, my superpowers. So now I know that me wanting to be competitive, it irritates people, but that's literally how I'm designed. I understand it shows up as a best self and a not self. So I need to take awareness and use EQ to, take accountability for moving from my not self to my best self right in the moment or over time.
Mm.
Um, but that's what I personally love about how we just organically came together. And this is the beautiful thing about alignment. So whether you go to work, to school, to church, whatever you do in your organization, in the community, when you're aligned, you've heard the phrase, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Mm.
When you're aligned, you're naturally going to find other people who are aligned. That's physics.
Awesome.
Again, Albert Einstein said everything is energy.
Yeah.
You're not the frequency. When you align, your frequency changes. So if the highest is joy and the lowest is anger, and you're closer to joy, you're not going to vibe and gel with someone who's on a lower frequency than for you. So this
Ooh.
is what human design and emotional intelligence helps you do. Have an awareness of where you are on that frequency.
Yes.
Be aware, am I emitting my not self, lower frequency, or my best self, higher frequency? And
Yeah.
then your environment will literally shift around you over time because you're going to naturally repel people
Mm.
who are used to you being on a lower frequency.
That's good.
And that's okay because we need to prune to grow. You
Mm.
want your hair to grow, you got to cut off the split ends. That's a natural part of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not that they were a bad person or you were a bad person. The season has ended. You all have helped each other evolve to this point.
Mm.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for the marriage. Thank you for, we helped each other grow and evolve. We did our job. It's a fair exchange. And now we're at different frequencies and we could continue our journeys, having appreciated the space we were in. but everything doesn't have to last forever. It's part of a journey. Relationships, ships, is supposed to take you somewhere.
Mm.
And it's going to end, whether in natural death or divorce or whatever, the ship is going to dock at some point. And we could be okay with that. Human design, emotional intelligence teaches us to be okay with that. When my daughters was younger in their teenager lives, and again they were aware of their human design, they were able to navigate mean girls or breakups. It's like, oh, they don't know their other people's, their friends in human design, they know theirs.
Yes.
Okay. I'm experiencing XYZ.
Mm.
Oh, I responded to that because one of my daughters has the strength of holding people accountable to their values.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
That's trait 50. So her gift is she's literally designed to like be in a group or team or a tribe. She is the natural energy of deciding who's in and who's out.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Powerful.
it is. And again, all 64 of them have different energies and traits. And so she's sitting with that and learning how to deal with that and do it respectfully and mindfully. But I want to, as a parent, I want to raise her for who she is based on her design, based on her SOP, based on her user's manual, which is human design. Because when she gets to be an adult, that's a quality leadership trait. She's going to use that trait to decide, is this employee going to be good with my company?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's going to need that skill of discretion. Is this relationship good for me? So it's important not to have word prejudice or word bias, because again, the English language can't hold the fullness of what these energies are. So we just try to grab a couple of words.
Yeah.
So discretion is useful
Mm-hmm.
because your position, her position is, especially in the tribe, in the team, in the group, in the department, in the chapter,
Yeah.
is to say, hey, what's good for our survival and sustainability, that person, place, or thing is not best for us. It's
Yeah.
her job to say the hard no.
Mm.
And I don't want to parent her out of that because she's going to need that when she gets to be an adult.
What's her first name?
Marisa,
Marisa for President of the United States.
she'll love that.
Right?
Cheers.
I'm trying to say. Um, so let me ask you, we're gonna wrap this up because I can talk to you all day about
You
this.
know, every time it's like time flies when you're having fun. But yeah, I know you and I just we live and breathe emotional intelligence and human design and just human nature and behavior, and it just flows so naturally. So yeah, the time always slips by when we're together.
So I want to end on asking a question to you, and I'll answer the question for myself as well, and that is, where in the spectrum of life, whether it's work, life, or love, where
Mm.
do you wish for more human design and emotional intelligence knowledge?
Well, I'm a little initially, my response right now is a little biased because I put the most emphasis on professional development, career trajectory, showing up in leadership at your department and your organization. So I spend a lot of my energy there. I do have clients who um, want me to focus on their love life, and that's what we do. Some clients want me to focus on their family dynamics. So, them as a parent with their parent and child relationship. So, I bring the parent in initially, and it depends on the age of the child. Especially if it's an adult child, we'll bring them in. I do couples, spouses, siblings, business partners. There's a whole concept for that I walk people through. So, I'm unable to divide them because it is literally applicable in every stage in life, because you're always there.
Yeah.
You're the thing. You and your emotions are everywhere in your life. So that's why you need to know your EQ score and use human design as a strategy to navigate and improve your EQ score. Um, but if I just have to nail down one, I'll admit that I do spend the most time working with professionals, and I speak about emotionally intelligent professional
Mm.
um, development. But yeah, clients ask me to I let them guide me because remember, my strategy is to wait for the invitation. So I
Yeah.
wait for them to tell me where would they like me to focus on. Because again, I'm a like a projector.
Mhm.
So when I open my eyes or open up this light and there's a spotlight, I can see deeply by reading and analyzing. I could connect the dots for people. And that's why it's best for me to wait for the invitation because if I just put my eyes and my spotlight and attention on someone and they're not ready, they can feel violated because
Mm.
it's like because they don't want to be seen energetically.
Mm.
They because some people feel like I can see their secrets
Mhm.
or and I'm not doing anything special or dynamic. I just can I know how to read the room or specifically read people's energy. It's like, oh, you're not feeling your best today.
Mm.
Oh, like I sense some angst. I can't explain how I know how to do that outside of my human design. I can point in my human design and say, well, I have this and I have this, and this explains that. Um, so yeah, so that's another reason to follow your strategy and authority because I don't want to offend other people because
Yeah.
they're not always ready to transform.
Okay.
Because I respect the fact that an interaction with me is transformative, and I had to come to grips with that. I didn't realize the impact I had, and I'm just spitting things out and saying things very casual to me because I'm just like, oh, the sky is blue. That's what it feels like to me. I feel like I'm just saying the sky is blue, not appreciating that that person thought the sky was yellow. And I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to change your reality.
Mm.
Like, oh, sorry. So across the board, but most of the requests I get are in the career field.
Yeah. Okay. I want you to just explain two terms you use, just because, as you said, these things just fly off.
I see. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, there's no reason to apologize. I think it's fantastic. And then I'll answer for myself the question I asked you. Strategy and authority. Explain those again in fifth grade language.
So, um, your strategy, one thing I like about human design. So you can think back, people have probably experienced, especially in the corporate world, at their jobs, they may have been subjected to personality tests or probably did it on their own, right? Taking personality assessments and things like that. Um, so human design does have a typing, like you're a manifestor type, I'm an advisor projector type, but that's where those personality tests stop. They
Hmm.
just be like, okay, you're a blue unicorn. You be like, okay, thanks. And then what? Right? So human design says, okay, well, you're a advisor. You have the energy of a projector, advisor. And now here's the strategy to live your best life with that. So there's an action plan.
Okay.
There's a strategic plan. Human design is your individual strategic plan.
Okay.
And so
And your strategy as an advisor is what?
wait for people to ask me for my advice.
Okay, gotcha. So
Wait for the invitation.
strategy is your type. Your strategy is my strategy is manifester.
No, so I'm sorry. So your type is manifester.
Type is
That's the typing.
okay.
So I'm a projector type, you're a manifestor type. Then the strategy for a projector to be effective, successful, communicate better, to minimize conflict is to wait for people to ask you for your advice or insight.
Okay.
And so I call it TSA pre-check. So you type TSA strategy. And then the A you asked me about is authority, which is the A. And the authority is where I coach people on how they make decisions that are that trustworthy. This is really good for leadership or parenting or partners. How do I make decisions? Some people make decisions, 50% of us make decisions solely off emotional intelligence. So it's really half of the population really need to know their EQ score immediately. They need to make an appointment with you immediately. Half of the population.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other half make decisions elsewhere in their body. So their gut feeling, their instinct, their willpower. And so as human design goes into all of that. And so those other half of the people, I'm walking them through different authorities. So you and I both have, no surprise, the authority of emotional intelligence to make decisions that are heavier in life, like taking a job, relationship, where we live, major decisions. We need to sleep on it.
Mm.
Give our emotions time to have the highs to go up to joy and go down to anger. And then we reach tranquility about the subject, and when we're not extremely excited about it or extremely sad or about it, when we're tranquil, then we can make a decision. We're like, you
Yeah.
know, I can do this. And that just means you're willing to go through whatever that experience is going to be,
Yeah.
good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah.
That's the correct decision. So that's called authority. So type is me. I'm an advisor projector. My strategy
Mhm.
S is to wait for someone to ask me for my advice and insight, which is beautiful because I'm not going around wasting my energy, running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Me. Hey, see me, pick me, pick me. That that free me from being a pick me.
Yeah.
Girl, sit down, drink your water, mind your business. I drink my water, mind my business. Then they'll call me when they need me, and it works out. And the conflict minimize,
Yeah.
resistance minimize because I follow my strategy. And then when they do invite me, I still have a decision to make. Am I going to accept the invitation? Just because they invited me, I'm not desperate to share my advice because I'm sitting in my design now. I'm confident now.
Mm.
So I realized, oh, a lot of people do need my advice. That don't mean I have the time and energy to share it.
Mhm.
Now, if we could figure out a good energy exchange for my advice and that I'm giving you and what you're getting from me, and then I'll make a decision. I'm like, okay, yeah, this feels good. I'm willing to share my energy with you, give you my advice that you need, as long as it's some type of energy exchange. So whatever you do, it could be monetary, it could be services or whatever. There has to be some type of energy exchange. And so I follow my TSA and I call it TSA pre-check because I do not enter a relationship. Just like you do not get on an airplane. I do not start a new project, but I do my TSA pre-check because
Mm.
once you're on that airplane, you stuck on that experience
Yeah.
until that plane land. And if I would have taken the time to follow my strategy and authority in the beginning and make a correct decision and enter into that relationship correctly, meaning for me, I got invited into it.
Yeah.
Now I'm on an airplane and this is a beautiful flight we're on.
Okay. So I know my T, I know my A. I don't, you're gonna have to remind me what my S is. So my T, my type is manifester. Okay.
Yes.
My A is emotion. So that's the seat of my authority
Yes.
is emotions. What's my strategy?
Your strategy is to go do it, to just do it. Your strategy is to initiate. You don't wait for permission. You are designed to blaze the trail, initiate people into new realities. When I come and I just share and initiate them into a new reality, they're going to reject me and I'm going to feel bitter because I'm like, I was just trying to help. I was just trying to help. When you speak or move, you are designed, to share an extreme example. You're designed to part the Red Sea. You're designed to clear the path. Get the machete, walk through the woods, clear the path. You're not designed to wait to see what someone else is doing. So your strategy is initiate because you get urges to create
I do.
and yeah, and So anger is just not like a low vibe emotion for you. Anger is really just a product of you being interrupted
Mm.
from creating something, an experience, a physical product, whatever it is, an idea, a book, whatever you're creating, whatever you're birthing, and you're interrupted. It's not that you're angry at that person, place, or thing that interrupted you. It's just that you were in the midst of using so much energy that interruption distracted you, and there was like friendly fire. So you were at the gun range safely, all of the safety things, and then someone came while you're in the middle of shooting and tapped you on your shoulder, and then you shot them. It's like, oh, that wasn't for you. And so I think in your word, you would call that misplaced anger and emotional intelligence, right? To and so it's really just coincidental misplaced anger because they came and interrupted you when you were on your assignment. You were doing your job, creating
Mhm.
something. And that you had all of this energy. I don't know why they interrupting you while you're trying to light the stove. You got this fire in your hand, and then you turn around and then they're on fire.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you got to stop learning to don't interrupt me when you see I got this fire in my in my hand. And so, how you can help them not interrupt you.
Mm.
So your strategy is initiate but inform.
Right.
Tell people I'm about to light this fire. I'm about to cut the stove on
Yeah.
so we can bake this cake, or I'm about to. So it's not you asking for permission. You're informing them that what I'm about to do or say is going to impact you as well because you're around. And
Mm.
I'm just giving you, whether it's a split second or a week's notice, I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. And
Yes.
I'm respectful of the fact that it may impact you. So I'm just letting you know.
Love that. Whew, it's just so lovely to be known. I mean, it's just it's wonderful to all of this to make sense. Like it makes sense. Now I'm like, oh, now I get me. Um, so yeah, okay. So my answer to my question, the place where I feel
Yeah.
design and emotional intelligence is
Leadership, life, and love, right?
yes, and
Yeah.
I'm going to put it in the domain of love, specifically in the divorce process. And I think if couples understood
Mm.
their human design and how to use emotional intelligence, first knowing their score, but then how to apply the skill to their human design, it would change the game of divorce. Some might not even get divorced. They might realize,
Amen.
we gonna make this work. Because now we have an understanding we never ever had before about one another and and about ourselves. So
Yes.
we now can bring our best selves and less of our not selves to the relationship. Yay!
You may save a marriage.
Big
Absolutely.
save a marriage. Okay. And if that's not possible,
Right.
let's not drag each other through the mud
Mm.
because our children are watching and our children will be affected by that. So let's save a heck of a lot of money in the process. Let's save the sanity and well being of our children, and let's save our own sanity and well being because we now understand ourselves first. We understand one another. And now we can go through this journey with a healthier method, healthier, even maybe a healthier outcome. That's where I want to bring human design and emotional intelligence into the divorce space, the marriage/divorce space,
Yes.
where
Yeah.
I would love to see it explode. And you know what? As a manifester,
You could do
I'll
it.
make it happen.
If anybody can make it happen, it's you. Yeah, you are designed to initiate things. And again, inform people what you're doing. But your energy comes in spurts.
Okay.
So it does just like so my strategy is wait for the invitation and I need an even energy exchange because it's going to overwhelm me and tire me out
Mm, mm.
to do what I naturally do. So I could be a hairdresser or a doctor doing my thing, but I'm going to get tired after a while,
Yeah.
right? And so you manifesting things and initiating projects, ideas, products, programs, whatever you're initiating, you have the spark,
Mm.
but you will benefit from a partner who could help you sustain your energy and stoke the fire.
Yes. Facts. I see that for sure. Yeah. I am not meant to go alone. I'm not meant, meaning to keep it going. I'm not meant
No,
to do it alone.
no,
Yeah.
no. And why try to be somebody you're not? Your superpower is to get it started. There's a lot of people out here who are not designed to get it started, who couldn't if they tried to get it started. They need you to get it started and they'll pick it up.
Hmm.
70%, I told you 9% are manifestors, about 20, 25 are projectors, advisors like myself. But about 70, 65, 70% are what we call generators, the builders. These people have the generator, the sustained energy.
Yeah.
They don't need other people's energy. They are the worker bees. They
Mm.
feel when they can't work on what they love,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
not selfish frustration. They're
Wow.
like, oh, I'm frustrated. They just want to do the thing. So whatever they love, whether if it's performing surgery or braiding someone's hair, whatever their thing is,
Hmm.
they just want to do it.
Hmm.
And so a manifester probably initiated them on their process. You probably spoke life to them. You should be a doctor. Here, let me help you fill out the scholarship. Well, this is what we're doing. I started the scholarship application for you. I downloaded it.
Yeah.
So you're just supposed to start it. They finish it. If it speaks to them, if it turns them on, they'll take it from there and finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
So is all the four types have symbiotic relationships. We
Hmm.
all we help each other. We
Yeah.
help each other.
Yeah.
And once you understand your type and your strategy and authority, we can all line up, not by last name, not by height or whatever. We could all line up and know what role we're supposed to play on a team and watch magic happen. Watch,
Watch.
watch nature take its course.
Love it. Yeah.
Just like the bees work together, the ants work together, we can do that too if we take our ego out of it and just let our body language and aura decides who does what.
Hmm. Yeah.
Solve a lot of problems.
Solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great.
As always, we could go on and on. We must do it again. I mean, there's so much to talk about. I know yeah, I love your question about leadership or life, or love, because it's applicable in all of those areas. And so, um,
Yeah.
yeah, let's keep talking about
We're going to keep talking about it. In fact, let's meet again next week.
it. Let's do that.
All right. Take
Let's
care.
do that.
Again
All
soon.
right.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye bye.